make a head vase, I start out by making 2 pinch pots, and I take a large chunk of clay, and as I'm making these pinch pots, I want to think ahead of time what is the form that I'm looking for. So right now I'm making the shoulders, and when I make a pinch pot, I'm looking at even walls. That's what I eventually want to get to. I don't necessarily make a sculpture perfect before I join it together. So in this case, I'm going to do a lot of refining towards the end of the sculpture. My goal right now is to really understand the form. So the first pinch pot, which is upside down now on the board there, is the shoulders, and now I'm working on the head. So I'm going to score and slip those into place, testing out how they look. And of course, I can make alterations the entire time. Like it's never done until it's bisque fired. That's how I like to think about it. Lots of smoothing goes on, lots of refining, trying to get those walls to be as even as possible. And some of you may like to do that first and then join them together. I like to get a look at the whole sculpture. So as I lay it down on its side, I am joining together the head pinch pot with the shoulders pinch pot, and it starts to give me an idea of what this is going to look like and how I want it to be. So scored and slipped into place, smoothed with the wooden smoothing tool, and then lots of using my fingers to smooth the clay around and refine the clay. It's a very long process for me. I'm using the blue rib here to paddle the surface. It compresses the clay, but it also can change the shape, and it will get rid of some of the finger marks from pinching the pinch pots. I'm sketching in the face using a needle tool, and now I'm going to start adding some of the three-dimensional aspects that I think are going to make this head vase look really sweet. The nose is just a short, triangular-shaped coil scored and slipped into place. And now I'm going to create thin coils that will look like eyelids. And as I add these on, I want to make sure that I'm scoring and slipping it really, really well and blending in just the top part. I'm not blending in the bottom part. This makes it look like the eyelid might actually open or shut. And I'm measuring one against the other to make sure that they're the same. That's always a challenge when you're making 2 eyes or 2 ears. You want them to match. So measure them against each other before you add them on. Don't try to eyeball it. Smoothing and refining the surface of the face. And the mouth now the mouth shape is like a little heart. So I'm taking a tiny little piece of clay and rolling it and then pinching it into this kind of heart shape and scoring and slipping it on. Now you don't have to add features onto your head vase. You can just draw on there if you want to. There's no requirement here for it to look a certain way. And I'm not even sure, as I'm working on it right now, I'm not sure how I want it to look. I'm just kind of getting to know the piece, and I've decided that no, I don't like those eyes, and I don't like that mouth. The nose is fine. Leave the nose. Might need a little smoothing, a little adjusting. But that is not the way that I wanted it to look, so I'm going to start again, sketching in where everything goes, and trying to figure out, maybe work on something else a little bit. That's what I think I'll do. So I grab some more fresh clay, and I know I want this to have arms, and I want the arms to be expressive. So I'm going to make the arms by rolling coils, and the coils should be roughly the same thickness. I don't want one big arm and one little arm. And I'm going to test them out before I score and slip them into place. And I don't know what I want the hands to be doing, the arms to be doing. I'm not really sure yet, but I'll get them in place. My clay is really soft. I can make any adjustments to these arms until they become leather hard. I'm smoothing them into place, kind of creating a set of shoulders at the same time, which is nice. And making sure that clay is nicely blended. And there we can see that I've decided that one hand is going to be holding the chin and one is going to be holding the other elbow. And I've got 2 little spheres of clay that I'm scoring and slipping into place on the eyes. Decided to go with the 3-dimensional look for the eyes. eyes are held in place by the eyelids. If you think about it, you want that eyelid to shut in front of the eyelid. So I'm going to make an eyelid out of a very thin coil, which I compress and score and slip into place. And just blend the top portion of the eyelid. Don't blend the portion of the eyelid that touches the eyeball. You want it to maintain that look of, oh, it could just blink if it wanted to. And always, again, measure one's against the other so that you don't have one large eye and one small eye, unless that's the look you're going for. With these head vases, that might be a very fun thing to do. Now, this eye that I'm working on the right-hand side of the screen, I end up completely redoing it later because I kind of messed it up and didn't like it. And that's okay. You can keep changing it until it's bisque fired. The mouth, I'm going to do, instead of one piece, I'm going to do 2 separate pieces, and I've raised the position of the mouth as well to be a little bit closer to the nose. So that's the top lip. And with the top lip, you blend in the portion of the lip that goes up to the nose, and you leave that other part unblended. Score and slip in a little tinier, smaller piece beneath the top part, and that's your bottom lip. And it's really starting to come together now. What's left to do is a lot of refining, and if I want it to look like it's wearing a shirt, then I'm going to add on some details. And I think at this point, as I look at the vase, it's not quite tall enough, so I want to add on an extra coil. Coil building can be used in conjunction with pinch pots or slabs. There's no rule that you have to use just one form of hand building. So I'm going to take a coil and I'm going to add it on the top to give some height to the vase. You want to use soft clay. You want to score and slip, and you want the thickness of your clay to be roughly the same so that as it dries evenly. So I'm scoring along the top edge where I want to add height, and scoring along the bottom edge of the coil and adding some slip. And then I'm going to compress it and smooth it into place. And you can do this as many times as you want. So you could end up adding a lot of height onto this vase. You could also open up the center into the bottom and add a base on the bottom of your coil pot, your bottom pinch pot, to create a proper vase form, which is what I end up doing on this piece. Really, the possibilities are endless.